Don't be alarmed. The quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry. That quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.
And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us right here on the weekend show. Cannot thank you enough for supporting us by going ahead and making sure you hit that 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest PCC Multiverse, Pop Culture Cosmos, State of Pro Wrestling, and anything that we do right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without a good friend indeed, and stepping in for TJ this week as a good man indeed. It is, of course, the guy who used to be the Friday man, indeed, on a weekly basis, but he's always the guy for us on Mondays. It is, of course, my longtime good friend and co-host of the Pop Culture Cosmos itself, and a creator of all the things we do on popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, plus also the plucky gamer, of course, also as well, all the great things that he does with Humanican Media, and more. It is Josh, the great Pearson. What's up, man?
What's up? I got a bone to pick with some of our favorite box office sites. All right, one, Box Office Mojo keeps changing. Now, if you look at it again, shows Demon Slayer at 580 million. You see it? But if you go to numbers, the numbers.com/box office records, you'll see Demon Slayer's at 637 million. So who's correct here, man? Tell me.
I got a headache. This
is like the third time this has happened.
Exactly. Went from 700 something to 600 something to 580 something.
So the theory I'm reading is that it's because it's a Japanese made film. They're like double counting like US and Canada or something. I don't quite get what the metric system is there, but which of these sites is more reliable, the numbers.com or Box Office Mojo?
Well, I would have told you easily the Box Office Mojo, but the numbers in recent years has steadily gained popularity, especially as Box Office Mojo has restricted its access. It used to be much more wide open, but when a certain company that rhymes with Blamazon purchased it,
okay,
things changed.
Yeah,
and well, yeah, it's not the greatest place it used to be. I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird how that's changed. So I don't know,
man. They need to make up their mind. How much money do they want to make? And they should just put that number down.
Exactly. It just makes no sense because it looked like it was. And I know that one of the leading box office analysts, Dan Murrell, he had posted that what we did earlier this week about it being number 4 or 5 at the box office worldwide for the year, in about $650 million, I think we quoted earlier this week. So he went with that. So all of a sudden you see it now back down to 580 million. It's something weird is going on, man. Something absolutely weird. It's one of the few movies that we've seen this type of fluctuation. And I don't know if it's them, I don't know if it's something else. So it's really, really weird. And if you tell me it's because it's an anime, because it's Japanese film, because it's the Asian market, because of the numbers sometimes fluctuating coming out of China or Japan or what, I don't know. I mean, because we've never seen this kind of fluctuation with any film like this on such a dramatic basis or dramatic swing within what, a 2-week span. It's
Yeah. You think some of it has to do with like the tariffs? I know there are tariffs being charged, like crazy tariffs on this movie. So you think they're like deducting that? I don't know, man. It's I'm confused.
I don't know what it is. Reported out there, and they are fluctuating to great lengths. Now, sometimes, when it comes to estimates and actuals, like what we sometimes report on, because you and I, when we record on Sundays, sometimes we have to give out what the estimates are, and then rules of what happened during the course of the weekend, especially on Sunday, fluctuate. Obviously, they're going to fluctuate either higher or lower simply because it's just an estimate sometimes when it comes out, because they don't know exactly how well it will do that day, especially. But to do this to this extent, weeks, into it, days into it, it's just, I cannot figure it out. I may reach out to Dan Morrell and ask him on that. I may
get to the bottom of this, Gerald.
I you know what, I will. If I remind myself this weekend, I don't know, he'll respond. I know he's a big YouTuber now, but I will go ahead and ask if that's the case. I'll have to go ahead and read listen to the transcripts of our past 3 shows, but I think I'll do that. I think I'll do that, my friend, because it's just something's going on with it, and
the people
Box
want
Office
to know.
Mojo. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not like it's $5 or $7 million on a movie that's made well over $500 million. This is a fluctuation of over $150 million, and you could go in the Wayback Machine and you can look at it.
Yeah.
What happened 2 weeks ago? What they printed out. If you wanted to go ahead and actually look into it, you could actually see what they had posted in regards to the worldwide total on those 3 occasions. If you don't believe us, because we looked at it live on the air as we were doing this, if you don't believe us, in 2 different locations in the US, looking at that site at all those 3 times, if you don't trust us, you can go on the Wayback Machine and see what they posted for those times. So.
All right. Hey, before we move on, I got one more. I know we got topics to cover, but I got one more thing I got to ask you. Crunchyroll. All right. Crunchyroll controversy, subtitles. What do you know about this?
Well, first of all, it's Sony. What are you gonna do? I mean, because it's owned by Sony now, so there's always something going on with that. But when it comes to the controversy and the AI controversy with it, I mean, anytime you put in the 2 letters these days, A and I, it seems like it's gotten into the deep of things, especially with hardcore anime fans. And now there's opinion pieces out there really hurt and really insulted by what Crunchyroll is doing as far as the AI interpreting as far as subtitles for these different things that they put out there on Crunchyroll. So I think, again, there's boycotting involved with Crunchyroll. I don't know, again, how far that effective that's going to be. If Crunchyroll sees there's a significant hint, that obviously it'll take a course of action. But when there's really only one game in town with the majority of anime, if you're a true anime fan, it's really going to be hard for you to access anime that's cutting edge, that's happening anywhere else. So, okay, if you want to ban it, if you want to go ahead and disconnect, that's fine. I respect your opinion in not doing so. It's just don't hit the subtitles. It's maybe what I would say if that's an option. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's because the company's based out of Israel, I think. So it's weird to me that not weird to me, but like I think there's a difference between just like we talked about with Ukraine, like there's game developers out of Ukraine have nothing to do with the government. I think there's companies in Israel that probably have nothing to do with what's going on in the government. But it also doesn't seem like Sony's making a great decision, right? Like there's not a lot of popularity going on with what's happening over there. So why would you outsource your subtitles to that?
True, but also the AI issue as well.
The AI, right. And
that's what's really getting people.
It's weird too, because it almost does feel like something out of like 1984, because they're talking about how they're actually like removing things that were said in the Japanese versions from the English subtitles. But why would you do that? But anyways, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. I think like a lot of people that watch anime actually have learned how to speak Japanese. So I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to fool a lot of people if you're to do something like that. Anyways, just want to get your thoughts on that, man.
No, I just that's great. I mean, I appreciate you allowing me that opportunity to speak on it, because the anime fans are a very focal community, and if they are really disliking something, whether it's the location of this AI of this company where they do the subtitles, or the fact that they're using AI on top of it, if that's a double issue for a lot of individuals out there, then maybe Sony will hear about it and will act on it. But don't let it take away your love for anime, is what I would say to people, please, because as someone who was kind of hesitant to really get deeper and deeper into anime because of my love for Akira, and I just didn't want to put down the anime genre, because I just didn't think that anything would be equal in quality. And boy, was I wrong on that one. And I'm just seeing the quality of anime now at this stage in 2025. Don't let it ruin your love for anime, because just so much is being put out there that's so good. And if there's any way to avoid the subtitles, just avoid the subtitles. If you wanted to hear it in its purest art form, in I guess a language you may not fully understand. Maybe that's if you want to go ahead and do that. But again, that's just me throwing in 2 cents there.
Yeah, I got a hot take, man. Let's I think we love movies, we love shows and video games, anime, right? So I think it's time. I think we need to truly embrace escapism and set aside all of our outside world beliefs, right? And just enjoy what it is, and then afterwards we can mix the two up again.
This PSA was sponsored in AI by no, just kidding. Just kidding.
This is not me. I'm actually a computer animated right now.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. That would really suck if our show, and I bet you our show could be done now in AI. That's the sad part.
I'm sure it could. Honestly, guys, Gerald would never wear an orange and yellow shirt. I don't know what's happening there. Right
now. No, what's happening. I like my tie dye. What can I say? I like my tie dye. Yeah, I don't know if the AI will repeat that, but it is, of course, what's going to go on with the pop culture cosmos. We've got a great show. A ton of stuff is coming out this weekend. Video games all over the place, and a new video game console is out in order to go ahead and play some of that, and we'll discuss that. Pokemon fans are I think about Pokemon A to Z. We'll go ahead and discuss that here in a little bit. Plus, also as well, of course, Frankenstein coming limited in theaters, but it will be mainly a big showcase early next month. We'll talk about that as far as the early reviews, and also Black Phone 2. I'll talk about a little bit more as far as the video game scene and more right here on the PCC Multiverse. Indeed, my friend. Great to have you back here in the saddle with me. Again, it is Josh Peterson along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Let's start off with one of the many video game releases, and that's Pokemon A to Z. I know you said you're going to be picking up today the advanced word on Pokemon A to Z. I know that my youngest daughter is knowledgeable about the Pokemon scene. She has, or Z-A. Z-A. Pokemon Legends Z-A. I gotta wake up this morning. Pokemon Legends Z-A is okay. It's coming out at 79 on Metacritic, but still no voice acting. Still a lot of issues with the frame rate. Still a lot of issues with the graphics, according to what she's heard multiple times. She's talked about how the next Pokemon has already leaked out on the internet this week, as far
Wind and Waves or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. So didn't want to go ahead and let that out of the bag, but I guess they did. Your thoughts on Pokemon Z-A? You're going to be getting it. I know it's an eternal gripe, but when it comes to Game Freak, I mean, if you got something that works, why change it? Why do you expand on it? Why do you go ahead and try to bring it into a modern era? Because if it still sells a gazillion copies, why change it?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the basis of this argument, right? Is that it has worked for so long for them. There's no need to evolve, right? But now we're getting to the point where Pokemon has brought in so many new generations of players who are used to things that are better than that they're not going to be able to keep getting away with that for very much longer. I do love. I mean, they made a massive jump when they went from the standard Pokemon line series to like the Legend series, right, with Arceus and Z-A, which just came out today. But it's the lack of voice acting is definitely a boon to it, and the writing and dialogue in Pokemon games has just been horrendous for so long that they're going to need to do something about that eventually. And also, like, I mean, I don't know, like, it's the same things over and over and over again. Like, there's they don't add any sort of like crafting system or a system where the human elements are able to interact in a combat way, which I mean, granted that's not Pokemon, but still, like, something needs to change, something needs to shift to make it more I don't know, more current, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. That's what my daughter, who purchased the last Pokemon on Switch, said. Modernize it, bring it to the forefront. I just don't know how it can still get relatively high grades. Right now, it's close to an 80. It's a 79 on Metacritic, and these critics are just willing to let it pass on by without it's changing its engine, without creating a lot of voice acting for it, or any voice acting for it. It just seems like it's a game stuck in the past, and I wanted to evolve. Sorry, pardon the pun. Further into something where it will be more adaptive to a modern and future audience. I just wanted to see it continue to be the behemoth that it is, but it just seems like with Game Freak, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I agree, man.
But you're gonna get it, man. You're gonna get it. I don't know. My daughter said for now she doesn't want it, but she may change her mind on that. But what are you expecting? When you buy that game later today, or when you pick it up, what are you expecting to get? What are you expecting to get out of it? Is what I'm trying
to say. I don't know. Honestly, I got the Switch 2, played Donkey Kong on it, and I'm expecting like a next gen Pokemon experience. And I don't know what to expect from that as of right now, but I'm hoping for something good. I'm hoping for the last one I played to completion was Pokemon Sword, and that was a pretty bad game in itself. So I mean, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I didn't, and I know when you're a kid, the magic is there and it's easier to tap into. But as an adult, it wasn't my favorite. So I'm hoping with this one that I will, I don't know, just at least enjoy my time with it. I'm not expecting Final Fantasy level RPG elements in it, but I'm hoping for something that makes it feel fresh and exciting to me.
Well, again, I'm going to have to run with whatever you say and how much you get out of it, because it is Pokemon Z-A. Again, if my daughter wants it and will get it, I can maybe share more thoughts on it. But for now, I'm going to go with what Josh says, and hopefully, Josh, you can come in and on a Pop Culture Cosmos or PCC Multiverse, share your thoughts later on as far as how you feel about Pokemon Z-A. And if you guys have thoughts out there on Pokemon Z-A, we would love to hear your thoughts on it right here at Pop Culture Cosmos. But it is Pokemon Z-A. Again, I'm not expecting anything but big sales for it. Of course, catering still to the Switch and then the Switch 2 as well. So if you're interested in talking about Pokemon Z-A, we would love to hear your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But before we hit the half-hour break, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the other major release. There's other video game releases I still want to touch on. But I want to touch on Xbox Handheld because they were finally released to the world on Thursday. The reviews have come in mostly positive, in some cases very positive. Of course, with the caveat of the price tag of the $600 and $1,000 units, especially the Xbox Rogue Ally X is the one that people are cornering on, as far as the $1,000 units seem to be getting, as far as from a technical standpoint, more lauded and more appreciated. The lesser unit, the Xbox Rogue Ally, that one is not as lauded. I'll just say that. Your thoughts on the handhelds? This was something if the Xbox Rogue Ally X had come out to my anticipated price of $700, I would have bought it day one. Wouldn't have been a question. Would have been something exactly what I needed, and I've talked about on the show. I'm looking for a handheld when I go, wherever, out on the road or whatnot, to have. That could fluctuate back and forth between Xbox, Steam, my emulation, and also as well being able to go ahead and do something like this, flip into Windows and allow me to not only take care of the internet, browse the internet, but be able to run a show. Let's say Josh says, "Hey, Gerald, I need to do an emergency show. We need to go on the air, blah, 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 blah." All right, I've got it, and it can set everything up. I think it could do that. I don't know. I'd have to really dive into it. Nobody's really talked about the Windows functionality of it, which is something I was kind of bummed on, even though I know it has it. So I'd like to maybe get my hands on it before I go ahead and take a look at it even further. But at $1,000, I just can't see it. I just cannot see it to something that I think is a good value to people. And I'm kind of disappointed by that, even though it could be called the best handheld on the market right now, which IGN pretty much said, paraphrasing, and some others have said. But the Xbox Rogue Ally X at $1,000 is just too high a price at this time.
Well, luckily you're not buying it off eBay right now, because it's going anywhere from $1,250 to $1,500 for the black version of it.
You can still buy it. Best Buy had it as of this recording right now, and it pops up every now and then. I mean, it's selling, I guess, okay. It's selling decently, but it's not sold out everywhere.
Yeah. I think, and this is just me being skeptical and nervous and anxious all at the same time, I think there might be some people who are stepping back and kind of waiting until Xbox tells us what the F is going on with their company right now before they invest in another piece of Xbox hardware. I think that's probably why these things aren't flying off the shelf.
It's just disappointing, man. It just truly is. This is something I was really excited for. I understand it's not a true 100% Xbox created thing from the ground up. I understand it's just a modification of an existing, 100% Xbox. I understand it's not a true 100% Xbox created thing from the ground up. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an existing 100% Xbox. I understand it's just a modification of an handheld, modified, put in a little bit newer chipset, etc. But the functionality was what I was really honing in on, Josh, and I really wanted to go ahead and get this, but I cannot justify dropping a C note for this. This is just it's just not worth it. It's just something that you and I would have been this time last year talking about around $700. I would have thought that was fair market value because I relate it to the Steam Deck when it first came out and the high-end unit being around $600, $700. And that's what I equated it to. And I'm still standing by that. I'm not going to spend that amount more. Now, if becomes available a used one at Retro City Games, I have trade credit.
Yeah.
Now think about it. But yeah, this is just truly a disappointing thing because they priced me and a lot of others out of the market.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, and yeah, I'm hopeful. So I have the ROG Ally, right? The white one. It's got has like 512 gigabytes on, I think, but I like there's some issues with it, you know. Like for one, like it won't even play Halo Infinite. They when they installed the easy anti-cheat software onto Infinite, it will no longer boot up on the ROG Ally for whatever reason. So I have to play Halo through Steam in order to, you know, to play on that and play against like my kids and stuff. But so I would be hopeful that with this new Xbox related one, it's not just like a shift of you know, the handheld pieces on it, instead that they would have fixed it. But yeah, I'm really curious, like what else this thing has to offer besides having that on it, though. Like, I mean, like I said, I hope they would iron out some of those software issues. But other than that, like, I mean, can you just buy like a regular ROG and have it do the same thing? Because you know, I look at the specs and I look at, you know, what they sort of do the same exact things. So it's yeah, it's very interesting if it's, you know, they're just slapping the Xbox label on it and then boom, you know, calling it a new handheld console.
It's just disappointing. I really wanted to go ahead and become a day one buyer of it, but yeah, I'm just not going to justify the price. But it does what it does is make me interested to see if Xbox does create a new generation of consoles. You know, they've said they're still in the console business. They said they're going to bring out at least one more generation console. The rumors stated that it is going to be a handheld Nintendo Switch like console hybrid type deal where you can take it on the go, supposedly. So maybe this sets it up for the future.
Yeah,
I don't
we'll
know.
see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. But it's just disappointing because
this is like burning down your corporate headquarters and saying, no, we're still good, guys.
we were so high on Xbox coming into this year, man, and what was coming up. We had that developers direct of what all the games, you know, some of the games that were coming out this year, and they've had, yeah, on the surface, take away the price increases.
Yeah.
On the surface, Xbox has had the best year of releases for gamers out there, bar none. For all the stuff that they've released onto PlayStation 5, for all the stuff that they've released onto Game Pass, they have had the best year, period. And no one can argue with that. Nintendo and Sony can't argue with that as far as just sheer releases are concerned. Quality game releases. But problem is, it just gets snowed under by such poor management and marketing skills. And the only thing people know about now, for not only the fact that they were mired way deep in third place in the console race beforehand, now they just know them as the company that just hiked its price up twice on consoles, hiked its price up on the handhelds, hiked its price up on the Game Pass, and it's no longer a value for gamers out there. And that's why you've seen all these major retailers not even carry their units anymore. It's a disgrace and a missed opportunity. They can throw the tariffs at you all they want, but if they were really interested in gaining a foothold in this marketplace and really taking advantage of the success they've had in the last year, they would have really done a better job of promoting and really getting their product out there to the gamers at large. And they didn't. And they only have themselves to blame.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so the tariff the tariff situation, like Microsoft has raised their tariffs more than any other company, like in the video game industry. And Microsoft is a multi-billion-dollar company, so like I don't understand why they claim to be getting hit so hard when clearly they have the ability to operate
Weather the storm.
To weather, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know, man. I mean, Sony hasn't done the same thing that Microsoft has, and Nintendo hasn't done the same thing.
Well, they both raised their price, and
they raised
the
price, but not as much as Microsoft did. So it makes you wonder if there's something more at play here. Like I know we've talked about this before, but the purchasing of all these developers, I have a feeling that this plan did not pan out the way that they thought it would. So now they have this anchor of gaming studios that are not producing stuff with the efficiency that they are probably were expecting up front. Now not only are we gonna have Xboxes cost more money, but we're gonna lose a lot of studios that make really great games. Like it's a vicious cycle, and I don't know where it's gonna stop.
I was watching a older documentary. We've talked about this before, on the day Xbox's fortunes changed forever. I believe it was E3 2014. Don Matrick, his famous words, the DRM, the Connect being forced into the Xbox One price tag, the whole 9 yards, and the game sharing controversy, that whole 9 yards, how they, in that 24-hour period of time, that they just really transformed their company for the worse and set them on a path of lack of success for it. They killed the Xbox One right there. It was a dead console walking for the rest of its entire tenure before it even came out. And they just handed the console wars to PlayStation with the PlayStation 4 in that sense. But they could have changed things around, Josh. They could have changed things around if they had gotten their act together with these development studios, and these games would have come out earlier in the life cycle. And some of these games, might have come out earlier, like upon its release. They could have delayed the console launch till after COVID. There's just so many things that they could have done that would have been better in hindsight, and what it could have, should have. But again, it is Microsoft, and Microsoft is one of the largest companies on this planet, and to see how badly they've mishandled the Xbox is just truly a shame.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, they had so much goodwill towards of the fans. The fans were really like pushing for Microsoft for those first, the ring of death could arguably be like when people started bailing for Microsoft, but
no, they came back to it. They made a great effort to do the refund policy, or as far as the repair policy, they spent $1 billion on that, as far as doing that, Josh. And by the end of the life cycle, those the PlayStation 3 and 360 were essentially tied overall in sales heading into that next generation. They were head to head. Xbox was better seller, I believe, in Europe and the US, and PlayStation 3 was a better seller overseas, but they were essentially neck and neck sales wise heading into the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and they just started making mistake
mistake
one
after another.
Yes.
I know, man. I know.
And this year hasn't helped. It just seemed like when there was a bright light, you and I were just really hopeful for the Xbox. They just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. It's maybe at this point, you either shut it down or you sell it. Sell Xbox to some entity out there for pennies on the dollar, and just get rid of it, because it's clear that Microsoft doesn't have a great direction for it at this time.
Well, it's like that meme, that meme where the stick gets put in the spoke of the bicycle, but it's like the one where the driver of the bicycle sticks the spoke in their own bicycle.
Yes.
That's exactly what's happening here.
Speaking of which, my friend, as far as Xbox is concerned, guess what? On the week that they release a handheld, Telltale Games, a company. Yes, by the way, did you know? Oh, Double Fine, excuse me. Double Fine is a studio that's owned by Xbox, has been owned for years by Xbox. They just released their latest game, Keeper, and based off of a totally unique story here. It's the story of I guess, an exploration game, and you're driving a lighthouse, a animated come to life
Oh,
lighthouse.
I
Yes,
remember that game being shown. I forgot about that.
yes. It is now out in the wild. It came out today as we're talking about this. It's around an 80 Metascore. It looks like it's really beautiful to look at. It looks like the artistry. You're going to love the color. The Josh Peterson color palette will be filled.
Love
Yes.
those color palettes.
Yes. So I'm looking at it now in another tab. I'm just going to say this. If you got Game Pass, I would hope, please give it a try. Please give it a try. This is the exact type of game that gets buried with all the releases that are out there this holiday season, and so many releases that are coming out. I sincerely hope that you give Keeper a try. I know it's weird. I know it's not the atypical shooter or the atypical third-person actioneer or the games that we've seen like recently of Ghost of Yotai or whatnot, or the Souls-like games. I understand it's not like that, but it's different. And it actually looks like it's good. And so if you guys are out there looking for something different for just a night or two, or to really get into it, yeah, try Keeper if you've got Game Pass. I would really, really like to see players adopt to this, because Double Fine, as you know, has always done things differently, and they will always, as long as they got the doors open. Tim Schafer, head of Double Fine, will always try to do things differently. Psychonauts is the prime example of that.
To the beat of their own drum.
Yeah. So if you guys out there want to support independent game making from a standpoint of ideas and concepts, they're obviously owned by Microsoft, so they're not independent themselves, but they come from a place where they were an indie development studio, and I'm just, they still have that spirit. I mean, the fact that we've been bashing Xbox now for weeks now, Josh, I have to give them one slight deal of credit, is that they said yes to this game. Whatever you think about Xbox, the fact that maybe Sony probably would not have accepted this game, they probably would not have greenlit this game. I don't know if Nintendo would. This is kind of the quirky game that Nintendo might have done it too, but Xbox did say yes to this game. And it just says, you know what, for all the stuff we've been bashing on, even in the past few minutes, I got to give them a slight nod of credit for letting Double Fine make this game.
Amen. Amen. We need, for every AAA experience out there with a well-told narrative, we need something with walking lighthouses.
Yes, absolutely. So please don't let this just get snowed over. I mean, we talked about the software this year. This is the best year ever, or the best, I'm going to say, leading back to Indiana Jones, this is probably the best 365 days Xbox has ever had on the software point of view. Don't get me started on the hardware. That's, again, you just heard me a lot of that. But to come out with such great titles like Avowed, Midnight, Till Midnight, that really solid game, and also the stuff that Obsidian is doing, Indiana Jones. They just came out with the Giants DLC as well. All these great games that Xbox has been bringing out as of late. Please support a game like Keeper. It just helps keep the independent way of thinking, so we don't just get Fortnite clones, Call of Duty clones, and Demon Souls clones. It's just, please do yourself a favor, play Keeper, and just keep that type of independent thinking alive. That's all we ask.
I agree. Yes.
But also out today, mainly going to be headed to PC and whatnot, although it is available for consoles as well. Actually, you can get it at a discount already. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. This is something where if my good friend Melinda Barkhouse Ross was still here, she would be all over this game because of the vampire motif and whatnot. But Vampire the Masquerade was actually a pretty good success. It's the first time around, so sequels, we'll have to wait and see how well they're received. But any thoughts on this, my friend? The reviews are mediocre, which can sometimes happen with sequels, my friend. But any interest in going to become a vampire as far as Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2?
I have never played any of these games, and there's so many of them now, and I don't know a good jumping on point. The vampire games, I probably will not check this one out, but I know there's a loyal fan base for it, and I think that's cool that they're still making them.
This reminds me a lot of the zombie games, because you play it from a first person standpoint, and the things you can do with it. It's not just a blind shooting or whatnot. This is something you could manipulate as far as is concerned. So again, if you wanted to be a vampire from that vantage point, a first person standpoint, it's kind of a different and offbeat type of game. So yeah, wanted to give a shout out to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. A big shout out to Melinda Barkhouse Ross. I know she's doing okay right now. She's doing some good stuff out there. I know she's really busy, but I wanted to go ahead and give her a shout out by saying, give out a try to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. It is out, coming out the 21st, so it's coming out in 4 days. So if you want to go ahead and check that out here, please let us know your thoughts on it, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's a little bit more to talk about on today's show before we head on out. Netflix it's of course that time of the year when it comes to Halloween, and we got to make sure before Halloween happens, we got to have our annual Halloween costume. What's hot and what's not at the costume stores.
They pop demon hunters, man. I'm sure.
Yeah, I know. I was asking my daughters yesterday about what does Spirit, because I used to run Spirits. I ran Spirit for 4 years and managed. It was kind of unique, but they would always come like. I know that K-pop Demon Hunters was a hit during the summer, and they have to make them so far in advance. Something like that, if it hits during the summer, they will try to make something comparable in it as fast as they can and try to get it to consumers maybe in around mid-October. Early to mid-October is the earliest they can do that, because with something like K-pop Demon Hunters. So I want to see what they would call it, because they won't license K-pop Demon Hunters. They won't pay for that license. So I want to see what they would call it, like Demon Hunting on a Wednesday package or something like that.
Yes.
What they call it.
But
right. Be that as it may, my friend, it is that time of the year, so we're seeing a lot of stuff come out. Netflix's Frankenstein is coming limited to theaters. It will be released on Netflix in early November. The reviews are pretty good for it. It is up your alley because of one main reason. It is the next film for Guillermo del Toro. So your thoughts on this, my friend? Guillermo del Toro has come back with a new version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and his envisioning of it. A lot of these things that he's brought to it, I think, are based primarily off the book and not off of what Hollywood has adapted before. So your thoughts on Frankenstein, limited in theaters if you want to check it out, but it will be coming to Netflix in early November.
I gotta say, like, I was really excited. So I'm, as an English teacher, right? I teach Frankenstein every year, one of my absolute favorite books. I always tell the kids, I'm like, you're not gonna understand it now, but when you get to college and you're able to think more critically, you'll really appreciate this book. So I was excited about, because I love me some Guillermo del Toro. But I got, as I'm hearing more and more about the movie, I'm finding out that it's not a direct adaptation of the book, and I don't know why, because there's like, it's really straightforward. Like, it tells a good story.
Well, I know he adds in some characters of his own and takes some out, but he also adds some elements in that are directly from the book that haven't been really adapted by previous movie or TV adaptations.
Right. But it's not like a page for page adaptation. I think that that would be such a powerful thing to have for schools, right? I mean, show a movie that's actually based on the book, and not to say that this movie's not going to be good. I'm sure it's going to be great, but as a teacher, I'd really like to have material that is based on adapted on the book. It's the same thing with like 1984. They have that one with Gary Oldman, but it's like super inappropriate. You can't show that to a class full of 11th graders. So I don't know. Yes, I'm excited about the movie. I do really want to watch it. I have been actually looking forward to this one for a long time. So I want to see exactly like how close it is to the movie, but also like I know that there's going to be a lot of liberties taken with the character, as there has been traditionally, over the course of however many years people have been making movies based on the Frankenstein property.
I'm interested and eager to see what comes out of it. I know the Frankenstein himself it's not people are talking about what he looks like because pictures have already flown out there about what this version of Frankenstein looks like, and it's like basically not as grotesque or pieced together the facial features of Frankenstein this time around. Do you have an issue with that, or are you looking for something? Were you looking for something more like the old movies type deal?
No, I mean, I don't like the old movies because they don't tell the story right. Victor is all. I mean, I would even go as far as to say that Victor is the main character in the story of Frankenstein, but movies always, they relegate him to like a side character, and sometimes he just shows up in the movies for 5 minutes, and the story focuses on Frankenstein, or not Frankenstein, sorry, the creature who is not named Frankenstein. So I don't have an issue with how he looks, because I mean the book is talks about it, right? They say he has like white pallid skin. He's all sewn together. His eyes are, there's redness in his eyes are slightly red, and they give a little bit about little bit of detail about him, but they don't like necessarily go into a lot of detail about what he looks like. What does his body look like? So I mean, I understand being able to take liberties on something like that, and I'm not too picky about it. I just I want to know, are the elements of the story there? Do they show about like the difference between like what makes somebody a monster, right? Do they show that comparison between Victor and the creature? Who has more humanity? Like I want to know that. I want to see those elements of the story explored. Like the physical traits of the creature don't really matter to me that much, as opposed to having the stuff that made the book so good within the movie.
Before we head on out, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and discuss one last thing. Black Phone 2, or actually a couple things. Black Phone 2 has now hit theaters. It is expected to win the box office battle because Tron Ares, I think you and I are going to already know, that's probably going to suffer a massive hit in its second week, as a lot of disappointing blockbusters do. Your thoughts on Black Phone 2? Ethan Hawke returns to the role again, even though I thought he died And of course, in horror movies, if they do well enough, they never actually die. They just get resurrected somehow with some incredibly creative writing, for lack of a better term. Your thoughts on Black Phone 2? Do you plan to pick up the phone if it starts to ring?
Straightforward with you. Never watched the first one, but I hear that it was really great. From what I've seen, the second one seems to be more of like a supernatural type film as opposed to having like a real like flesh and bones murderer out there, like Ethan Hawke played in the first one. So I don't really know. The trailers were very vague. It shows a kid in the phone booth and a hallucination maybe, or maybe the movie's gonna end, it's gonna end up being the kid. He was the guy in the black mask in the second one. I don't know, but I personally really like when I see like newer horror movies come in and make waves, because I think we rely too heavily on the old properties, the Friday the 13th, the Screams, the I Know What You Did Last Summer, those types of characters to perpetuate the genre forward, and we don't get a lot of like new stories in there. So I think that for that very reason, like I admire movies like Black Phone and Weapons, even because it helps it's helping tell fresh stories in a genre that has just been recycled over and over again.
I'll say this, my friend. I agree with you that it's great to bring new types of stories into the universe and have them go like 4, 5, 7 iterations in.
Now, how can we beat this one to death? Yeah,
exactly. So Weapons with a prequel, it's already been talked about. Black Phone 2 already taught, on the screens. But if it goes and if it strays far away from the horror, they better not do what Megan did and then go like all action adventure, straying away from the horror aspect of it. And people poo-pooed on that for Megan 2.0. And if it is Black Phone 2.0 and it's not going the right direction, there won't be a Black Phone 3. That's for sure.
Those creatives, man, those creative college kids just messing up everything.
Indeed. But before we head on out, I did want to mention if you're into Netflix, what's coming out on Netflix, or what has come out on Netflix, The Diplomat season 3 has gotten some solid reviews out there. If you're interested, that's going to be probably a big watch out there for a lot of people as we get closer and closer to some of the major stuff that Netflix is doing, including Frankenstein, Stranger Things. But wanted to mention something from Apple TV. You can't say the plus anymore because they took the plus away because, I don't know. Just the plus seemed to be everybody have the plus on their streaming service. Now they can't get rid of the plus fast enough. Just talked to Apple TV about that. But they're doing a 5-part series on Martin Scorsese called Mr. Scorsese.
Interesting.
And I just wanted to go ahead and hear your thoughts on this, because I know that Monday's show we leave for your MCU climb. Today I thought you would want to go ahead and just the last 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes of our show, talk about what Martin Scorsese has given to the world of filmmaking.
Yeah. Before we go, I do want to talk about The Witcher for a minute, but
that's right. The Witcher season 4. Well, then we'll get this really quickly then.
I mean, Martin Scorsese, like he's the last of, I guess you'd call him the old guard, right? Like people who made Hollywood helped make Hollywood into what it is. Martin Scorsese, I remember my first foray into Martin Scorsese films was The Departed. Then I had to take a film class and ended up watching Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro, and that was a good one. And then it's just, I mean, I've been a fan ever since. I don't, Shutter Island is take it or leave it for me, but he's definitely like, he can probably go to any studio and make any film he wants to, and I think that speaks volumes about like the impact that he has had on the just the industry in general. He has been very outspoken against like these big franchise films, the Marvel universe, for example, but there's a lot of respect for him, and he definitely has left a lasting legacy. So it'd be interesting to see a show like this and see what they say about him, what they make of him, what they have to say about him. And I like the last thing I actually saw Martin Scorsese in was The Studio. Remember that first episode?
Mm-hmm.
And
I believe he won an Emmy for that.
Yeah, that's
or
crazy.
Bryan Cranston won for that, but he was nominated for an Emmy on that. So
yeah. I mean, pretty great. And honestly, like, he's one of those filmmakers where, like, I think he deserves everything he wins, because he is immensely talented. And I mean, you can see the way that his skills as a filmmaker have evolved from one film to the next. And that's kind of a lot more than we can say for his nemesis, which are the Marvel movies.
Yes, that's for sure. It is Mr. Scorsese. It is a 5-part TV series. It's available now on Apple TV. Strong reviews, 81 on Metacritic for a TV show. So go ahead and check it out today. And if you have thoughts on Martin Scorsese's career and life body work, and also this TV series, let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But before we head out, I mentioned some of the things that have come to Netflix. What's coming to Netflix as well? The Witcher Season 4. So are you on Team Hemsworth as far as is concerned? Are you interested in going back and delving into The Witcher? We talked about it already as far as the author of The Witcher. Especially when it comes to the video game scene, not exactly thrilled with what's going on there. But would you be thrilled by what's going on with The Witcher in Season 4?
I don't know, man. Like, the first season of The Witcher was great. Like, it was a really good show, right? It was like that, whatever that, I think it was like 13 episodes or something like that, 12 episodes maybe, but it was good. They laid the groundwork for what had the potential to be a really great series, but then they got further away from the book's mythology, they got further away from the lore, they got further away from like what made the first season great. They're trying to be Game of Thrones, man, and it just wasn't working out. And then we have this whole thing with Henry Cavill and Liam Hemsworth. I will give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot, man. There's 2 seasons left of The Witcher, and I'm 3 seasons committed at this point. The end of the last season was pretty awful, but at this point, I'm gonna check it out. It could be terrible, could be great. I don't know. I'm gonna go in objectively, though. Okay, I'm not gonna go in wanting to bash this show, probably like a majority of a lot of critics out there. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna give it a fair shot, and then I'll be able to tell you what I think about it. But yeah, the author of the books, and there's a lot of other authors out there too, have been bashing the story being told in the show. So I don't know, man, but I'm gonna give it a shot. What about you? You gonna toss some coins to The Witcher this season?
I don't know. I really got lost after season 1, so I don't know. I guess it just kind of irks me when I'll see The Witcher there, and then I'll see the Halo series in the Netflix top 10 right alongside it, and think of myself, what could have been for both these series? And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, Halo, there's rumors floating around there's going to be a season 3 produced by Netflix, and I think if that's no, hear me out though. Hear me out. Netflix does a good job of getting people who are actually good. When fans want a property revived, Netflix does a great job of finding people who can make it happen. So if there's a season 3 of Halo, I will give it 1 season to change my mind about it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, but you know my thoughts on Halo, indeed. All right, if you guys have thoughts out there on the new season of The Witcher, please let us know. And would you like to see a revival of Halo? Because it was really not that great the first time around, outside of one episode. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and dare into it, once again, Netflix, by all means, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But last word I wanted to go ahead and mention to you, Josh. I know that hopefully that you'll be able to come by Las Vegas at some point in time. If you guys or gals out there are interested in the video game scene here in Las Vegas, there's no better place to go than one of our good friends at Retro City Games. They now have 4 live locations, and now they're the only video game store that's actually physically on the strip. They have a beautiful location called Retro City Games Collector's Edition. It is some of their higher end stuff that they have. If you want to see a fabulous store that's overlooking the Las Vegas Strip, go to the Caesars Palace Forum Shop's 3rd floor, and you will find what you're looking for there, Josh. They really outdid themselves, and I think it brings a tear to my eye almost, because of what they started out as with a small mom and pop store pop store where they couldn't even fill the shelves to what they have now as far as the place to go for video games and collectibles in all of Las Vegas.
We're all so proud of you, Doug. Yep.
Absolutely, indeed. A shout out to Douglas, of course, Nicole, Antonio, and the entire team at Retro City Games. Now 4 stores big, and who knows, could be gaining even more in the future, indeed. But right now on the Strip, 2 great outlet locations and their base store in Henderson, which might be doing something special sometime next year.
I wonder what that could be.
Indeed. So for Josh the Great Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Don't be alarmed. The quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry. That quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.